A little bit of a different perspective. We're joined by Jamil Jaffer. Jamil's the founder and executive director of the National Security Institute. So you've been listening in, I'm sure, on some of this. So why don't we start there? There's a couple of other, or at least one other topic I want to ask you about, but this response to what's happened on the base in Jordan along the border near Syria. 3 U.S. service members are dead. We have pictures of them that we've been putting up, and that's where everybody's thoughts begin. And you can start with that, and then where do you go? How do you send this message without, I guess, going too far, or can you go too far? How do you look at it?
Well, Connell, I think General Enyart's right that the first and most important thing is to express our sympathy and our unity with the families of these deceased service members. It's horrible what's happened. But this was, entirely predictable, unfortunately. We've seen Iran conduct, these Iranian-backed militias conduct over 150, up to 170 attacks against U.S. Bases and military facilities and ships in the region just since October alone. And this is actually a years-long thing. It's not really focused on the Israel-Hamas war. This goes back years. And, during the Trump administration, President Trump actually went after Qasem Soleimani, the leader of the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Quds Force, killed him. There were still continued Iranian attacks on U.S. facilities, or Iran-backed attacks on U.S. facilities. So, at the end of the day, what it's going to take to deter Iran is no longer respond to simply their proxies, not the Houthis, not Ansar al-Haq, not Kataib Hezbollah, not the Islamic resistance in Iraq, but against Iran itself directly. That's the only thing they're going to respond to. Inside Iran, if need be. At the end of the day, look, the Iranians know what they're doing. They're working through proxy groups in an effort to try and put the scent off of them, and they've denied they have any involvement. We know, the administration has made clear, we know it's Iran behind this. At the end of the day, if you don't hit Iran directly, these attacks will continue. They will worsen, and unfortunately, more American service members will lose their lives and be injured. That is not something not the president, not the Secretary of Defense, not anybody in our country wants.
So I think, the Democrats certainly would, that doesn't seem to be the approach that they're taking. It's not the approach the president has taken. I talked to Congressman Seth Moulton, Massachusetts. It certainly didn't seem to be the approach he's taking. I know there are some Republicans who are calling for that today. I wouldn't even think that the Trump side of the Republican Party, if you would call it that, and that's the dominant wing, if you will, of the party, would necessarily want to go that far either. But that'd be a big step, wouldn't it? I mean, that would raise the stakes. That would raise the risks, Jamil, if you're attacking Iran inside of Iran.
Well, I guess the question, Connell, is how much risk do we experience today, right? This issue of escalation, Iran has already escalated. They're the ones using their proxy forces to kill Americans, attack American ships, attack commercial shipping in the Red Sea, go after our soldiers and troops in the field. This is all Iran's doing. It's also, they're also backing Hamas, attacking Israel, the terrorist attack that we saw in October. So Iran is behind all this. At the end of the day, if they don't pay a price, Connell, risk only goes up because more of these things happen, and America will be drawn to a larger conflict. Until we demonstrate to Iran that we have the resolve to hit them where it hurts, they will continue these attacks unabated, and that's the real challenge. And so, look, it may seem hawkish, it may seem aggressive, but the truth is, sort of playing back off the line hasn't worked, Connell.
You don't think they're trying to draw us in? Yeah, I've heard some people make that argument that this is what this is all about. It's kind of what these proxies want. They're trying to draw the U.S. in.
Well, if they're trying to draw us in, killing Americans is going to do that. At some point, the United States has to respond to Americans being killed. This is not about being drawn in. This is about defending our own people, defending our interests, and leading again the world. For too long, Connell, America's played a back step to everybody else and said, we don't want to be involved in the world. Whether you're talking about the Trump or the Republican Party or most of the Democratic Party, the reality is that not leading the world has caused us to be where we are. The world is on fire, Connell.
No, I understand it. The other side, I wanted to get a quick thought from you, Jamil. I don't know if you have any thoughts on this whole situation with this group, this UNRWA, this UN-related group that's been doing work with Palestinian people for years and years, but now you have workers from that group accused of actually helping Hamas carry out the attacks of October 7th. Your thoughts?
Yeah, look, it's a real problem. Obviously, the work that needs to be done, helping the refugees, is obviously critically important. We need to continue that work. It's clear now that UNRWA is not the agency to do that. Their leadership allowed this to happen. They've now fired 8 people. A number of countries withdrawn their support. I think you have to remake that organization from the ground up, start with new leadership, and then look, solving the refugee problem is an important thing. That work has to be done. At the same time, you can't allow an organization that has failed in this miserable way and allowed members of the organization to participate in a massive terrorist attack to survive, unfortunately.
Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.